Subscribe to Emmanuel Tutorials and press the bell icon for notifications.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Emmanuel Tutorials. Today we are going to see the derivation of Z transform and the inverse Z transform. Before going into the video, if you have not subscribed to Emmanuel Tutorials yet, do subscribe and press the bell icon for many more such useful videos. Also click the like button and share it with your friends in need. Also, you might have seen the join button which has come up newly below the Emmanuel Tutorials channel name. Do check that out also and enjoy all the benefits that come along with it. So let's start. First we are going to take z equal to r e raised to j omega. This is a complex number, right? And the input signal x of n we are going to take as z raised to n. Here you can see it is x of n and not x of t because this is always going to be in the discrete time. And we also saw in the previous video, the introduction to Z transform, that Z transform is the discrete time counterpart of the Laplace transform. So here we are going to use a discrete time input signal x of n is equal to z raised to n. This number raised to n, which is a complex exponential signal because you have this raised to component. Now, if you expand this, can you say this is equal to r e raised to j omega raised to n? R e raised to j omega raised to n, and you can take r. Can you say that this is equal to r of n into e raised to j omega n, right? So you can take r of n common or you can expand it along with it. Also, e raised to j theta is equal to cos theta plus j sin theta. So this is the same thing we have done the expansion. E raised to j omega n is equal to r of n into cos omega n plus j sin omega n, and here we have written it in the expanded form, multiplying both the components by r raised to n. Here the real part, that is this one where you don't have j, is an exponentially damped cosine. This is a cosine, and this is the imaginary part is an exponentially damped sine, and r is the damping factor. Omega is the sinusoidal frequency. Omega, which is here, is the frequency. Now, if you apply this input signal x of n equal to z of n to an LTI system, what is going to happen? The output y of n, the system output y of n, is going to be equal to h of x of n. You're putting it into the system, into the black box, which is equal to convolution. In an LTI system, this is the operation that takes place, h of n into x of n. So here, this is the impulse response, this is the input signal. Now, what we can do is, can you say y of n is equal to summation k equal to minus infinity to plus infinity h of k into x of n minus k? Because this is the formula for convolution. As you can see, we are doing convolution. Now, you substitute x of n is equal to z raised to n in this equation. You know that input x of n is z raised to n. So you can just substitute it. What you'll get is y of n is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to plus infinity h of k into z of n, z raised to n minus k, because we are just going to replace n by n minus k because x of n minus k. Now you can see that this summation is dependent only on k. So n is a constant. So what we can do is z raised to n minus k is equal to z raised to n into z raised to minus k. We can just remove z raised to n because it's a constant and keep z raised to minus k inside. Now, if you say this is the output and this is the input, because x of n is z raised to n, right? So can you say the transfer function is output upon input, which is y of n upon z raised to n. So y of n upon z raised to n will be this part of the function, or this part of the expression, which is the transfer function h of z equal to summation k running from minus infinity to plus infinity h of k into z raised to minus k. This same expression is going to be used to find out z transform by replacing h of z by x of z and h of k by x of k. This is the equation for z transform. Now let's see the same thing for inverse z transform. So in inverse z transform, what we are going to do is use the same equation, this one that we have got, first one, and substitute z is equal to r e raised to j omega in it. So this is the same thing that we took at the beginning for deriving z transform. This is also one more thing you can remember. This is also called analysis equation. And the equation that we'll derive from inverse z transform is also called as synthesis equation or expression. So when you substitute, what is going to happen? Z is replaced by r e raised to j omega. So h of r e raised to j omega is equal to summation n running from minus infinity to plus infinity. H of n, you can keep it as k also, and into r e raised to j omega raised to minus n, because we have replaced k with n. This is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity h of n into r e raised to minus n into e raised to minus j omega n, just multiplication by separating the powers, right? Now if you consider this equation, does it look like the discrete time Fourier transform equation of h of n into r raised to minus n? If you consider this as x of n and you are finding the discrete time Fourier transform, so equation will be summation k running from minus infinity to plus infinity x of n into e raised to minus j omega n. The same thing is what is done over here. Summation k n running from minus infinity to plus infinity h of n into r of raised to minus n into e raised to minus j omega n. So your x of n is this part. So this is the DTFT. Now how do you find inverse DTFT? Inverse DTFT is found out using this equation. H of n r raised to minus n is our x of n, right? So x of n is found out by, that is, DTFT is done to find out the original x of n. So x of n is h of n into r raised to minus n over here. That is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral running from minus pi to plus pi h of r e raised to j omega into e raised to j omega n d omega. So h of n is equal to, if you take r of minus n to the other side, it will be r raised to plus n. So r raised to plus n upon 2 pi into integral minus infinity in minus pi to plus pi h of r e raised to j omega into e raised to j omega pi d omega. Right? Now, if you take the r raised to n inside, you can take n as a common power. So it will be 1 by 2 pi integral minus pi to plus pi h of r e raised to j omega into r e raised to j omega raised to n, taking common powers of n. Now we know that z is equal to r e raised to j omega. Now differentiating by omega on both sides, can you say dz by d omega is equal to, r is a constant, so r will remain as it is, r into e raised to j omega into into j, because a differentiation of j omega with respect to omega is j. So r e raised to j omega into j. So if you take d omega to the other side, it will be dz is equal to rj into e raised to j omega d omega. And can you say that r and e raised to j omega, these two form z? So dz is equal to z into j into d omega, and d omega is equal to dz upon zj. Can you say that? Now, if you substitute this in the previous equation, here in place of d omega, if you put dz upon zj, can you say that this is also z raised to n, right? This is z raised to n, and then you're dividing it by zj and multiplying it by dz. So it will be z raised to n minus 1, z raised to n upon z is z raised to n into z raised to minus 1, which will give us z raised to n minus 1 dz. And we are remaining with 1 upon 2 pi and this extra j, so it will be 1 upon 2 pi j, and this integral is going around a circle of 2 pi, right? Minus pi to pi, it is tracing a circle of 360 degree or 2 pi radians. So you can take a line integral here of h of z, because h of r e raised to j omega is h of z. So h of z into z raised to n minus 1 dz. H of n is equal to 1 upon 2 pi j, line integral h of z into z raised to n minus 1 dz. This is called the this is the inverse z transform equation, and the h of z is the transfer function here. And you can say that h of z is the z transform of the impulse response h of n, right? So if you want to get h of z value, you just take the z transform of h of n and you get the transfer function. And when we use it in problems, it's usually in this form: x of n equal to 1 upon 2 pi j, line integral x of z raised to n minus 1 dz. Also, one more thing to remember is in inverse z transforms, we don't usually use this equation, but we use other methods by which we can easily find out the inverse z transform value. So this was the derivation for z transform and inverse z transform. If you have any doubts related to this video or any other videos or any other concepts in electronics and telecommunication engineering or computer science engineering, do let us know by commenting on below any of our videos, and we'll try to upload a video explaining it. If you have not subscribed to Emmanuel Tutorials yet, do subscribe and press the like button if you found this useful, and do share it with your friends in need. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to Emmanuel Tutorials and press the bell icon for notifications.